Ladies and gentlemen, Ned Stabler of TechTown.
Good morning, Detroit homecoming. Can I get a little good morning, little one? Come on, it's almost lunchtime. You almost made it. Give me just a little bit more. Good morning, Detroit homecoming. Awesome. Well, so they introduced me as Ned Stabler from TechTown Detroit, and that is absolutely true. I also have another job. I'm the Vice President for Economic Development at Wayne State University. And I thought I was just going to talk about TechTown, but I think I'm going to give you a 2-second introduction to Wayne State, because all the folks who are up here this morning talking about all the great educational institutions in our state like U of M and Michigan State must never have heard of us here at Wayne State, right here in the heart of Detroit. And I know we got some alums out there, because we always have alums out there, because 70% of our 300,000 alums live right here in Metro Detroit. They are 30% of the doctors that you see around, more of the best lawyers and top lawyers in the state than any other law school. We have a $2.6 billion economic impact right here in the city of Detroit as the state's most diverse university and only urban public research university. So I do have another job at Wayne State, but I really want to talk to you about, based on our conversation already this morning about technology and the innovation that's happening in Detroit, how do we make sure that everyone who lives here in the city of Detroit gets to participate in that? And we talk about talent being equally distributed, but opportunity isn't. So at TechTown, our mission is to change that. We were founded 20 years ago to commercialize technology out of Wayne State and Henry Ford Health System, but we quickly expanded beyond that to everyone in the Metro Detroit area. And not just technologies outside the health system and the university, but also we help every type of business, whether you're starting a mobile device company or a restaurant. But I'm really going to focus on innovation here. And we talk about our bigger mission. And I always tell our team, let's focus on problems. We heard that a little bit earlier. Focus on problems, be married to the problems, not to the solutions. Well, our problem, what we're really trying to do, our mission is to end cycles of intergenerational poverty and to generate equitable community wealth. Basically meaning that everyone gets to benefit from the new economy as we rise. But we noticed that even in our programming, if we went back to 2018, we weren't succeeding. Only 18.5% of the folks who went through our technology programming in 2018 identified as black. In a city like Detroit, that was failing for us, even though that's 9 times the national average. So what did we do? We went out and studied, how do you change that? And we went all over the country looking for best practices in inclusive economic development, and specifically around tech programming. And we created a report we call Radical Inclusion in Tech. And it is about removing barriers that some people don't even think about. So it might be transportation, it might be childcare, it might be just making your coaches and classes available after hours or on weekends so that folks who have a job or have kids can get there. But one of the things we really discovered, and it worked. By 2020, over half of the participants in our tech programs were black. And by 2021, it was 60%. One of the big challenges, though, that we continue to look at, and I'm really proud, if you look at our COVID numbers, this is the first year or so of COVID, 86% rather, of our overall client base were people of color. Of the 1,700, 57% of them use she, her, hers pronouns. How did we do it? By removing those particular barriers that they had. What's the real big one, the big elephant in the room? Well, 80% of the money that entrepreneurs use to start their businesses comes from family and friends. When my wife and I started a business, we went into our bank account to buy inventory and technology and the permitting and things that were originally the startup costs. But the net worth of a black family in America is less than $24,000 a year, compared to close to $200,000 for a white family. So we created something called the TechTown Startup Fund to help bridge the gap. And I'm not talking about early angel capital or equity or anything else that's going to be more expensive. I'm talking about that first $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 that comes out of your own pocket if you have a net worth of $1 million. I mean grant money. We always say, don't just provide mentorship, sponsorship. Really, the real dollars. Put your money where your mouth is. And you start looking at 2 years ago, we started funding some of these folks. Bardrop and RaxPlay, two really cool tech companies, started right here in the city of Detroit, and we've already had success. So for example, Justin Turk from Livegistics, who was here last year speaking at Homecoming, just raised a $6 million seed round for his technology company that provides services to construction companies to help them make their process more efficient. And we're just getting started. In the last 2 weeks, we've had 2 multi-year grants, one from the Gilbert Family Foundation to create Venture 313, technology programming for the whole spectrum. And we're happy to partner with Invest Detroit and the Detroit Development Fund to make sure that every founder in the city of Detroit and the metro region has access to the capital they need. And then finally, you might have heard, oh, we lost one slide there, but the last one is the Building Back Better Regional Challenge. You might have heard the Detroit Regional Partnership put together a big coalition to go after a massive federal grant. The Economic Development Administration awarded $1 billion to 20 different regions around the country, and Detroit was one of them. We were pleased to be selected to get $50 million, $52 million to advance the global epicenter of mobility, which is the city of Detroit. And our portion of that, which is something we call MAIN, the Mobility Acceleration and Innovation Network, is led out of Techtown, but has partners at U of M and Wayne State, as well as Centropolis, the Michigan Founders Fund, and others, is really focused on that startup and grow ecosystem and making sure that we're inclusive so that everybody gets to participate. If you're interested in learning more about any of those initiatives or anything we're doing or how we've had success at making Detroit a more equitable tech ecosystem, let me know. And enjoy the rest of Detroit Homecoming. Thank you.
Thanks, Ned. That was a great and succinct summary of what's going on at Techtown. I wish we had more time. Now, just a couple of housekeeping announcements. We're going to break for lunch. We have tours this afternoon. The Fashion and Design Tour is going to Isaac, Rebel, Nell, and Motown. The Auto Show VIP Tour, which is going to be a guided tour with the MEDC, that bus leaves at 12:45. So if you've signed up for that, you need to have had lunch and meet your bus outside. The other tours are at 1 o'clock. A bus goes on the fashion tour, but the Riverwalk tour is going to be walking from here. We're going to walk along the river to the carousel, and then you're going to take a shuttle to Belle Isle. How many people have seen this? Yeah, now don't you wish you would have signed up for that tour? Yeah, the chiropractor coupons will be part of the tour. Yeah. So, and then we're going to have our dinners tonight. The shuttles leave from Book Cadillac. I know a lot of you are going to be driving yourselves, but if you're going to take a shuttle, they will be at the Book Cadillac starting 5, 5:15, 5:30. The dinners are at 6. If you need a map to the dinner locations, they're at the front desk. And finally, we have a lot of companies. We had a showcase of companies this morning. I mean, a lot of really cool companies. Techstars is one of the programs. Techtown, another program. But the Michigan Central program that Josh was speaking about earlier in the morning, there are 6 or 8 companies that are exhibiting out in the atrium level on the side, down the hall a little bit on the way out to the patio where we had dinner last night. So please visit those companies, please shop, and we will see you on the tours and at the dine-arounds tonight. One final note, if you're up late enough and you want one last little nightcap, we have Eastern Market After Dark from 9 o'clock on, Shed 2 in Eastern Market. There's a dedicated space for Detroit Homecoming, and so we may see a few of you night owls there. Thank you.